Hey friend, welcome back to Through Her Lens with Neeta B. I'm so glad to have you here with me again. Now, last week I reintroduced myself. This week I'm doing something even harder. I want to share with you the truths that I've had to learn the hard way. Not the cute polished lessons, not the Instagram captions, not the Pinterest quotes, but the raw, lived through, wrestled with truths. The ones that came from unspoken wounds, overachieving, and trying to prove I was okay when I wasn't. The ones I learned through silence, survival, heartbreak, and healing. The ones that shook me up so I could finally wake up. Because I didn't just become this woman, I built her from scratch, unlearning everything that I was never meant to carry. So today, I want to walk you through the truths that I learned the hard way in hopes that maybe, just maybe, you don't have to go through it the same way I did. And I'm going to be real with you. These aren't just lessons. They're battle scars. They're reconciliations. They're reclamations. They're when you get to the point where you finally stop hiding and you start showing up and being fully present. So let's get into it. Now, at some point, I looked around and realized I was surrounded, but I wasn't seen. Praised, but still not whole. I was the fixer, the strong one, the overachiever, wearing the mask of being fine while quietly falling apart inside. From the time I was 18, motherhood had me in go mode. Marriage required sacrifices I wasn't always ready for. I wore resilience and determination like a badge of honor, but no space to admit that I was tired. I was worn out. And I didn't want to always be the strong one. I was giving, but not grounded, performing, but not present. And somewhere along the way, I started wondering, did I build a life that looked good, but didn't feel like it to me? The truth is, sometimes I was the problem, not intentionally, but because I never learned how to be a woman on my own terms. I built this life. I had been living this life. And you know how you can live something for so long that it becomes your truth? That when it's finally revealed to you that what you have known and what you feel or think to be true is not true, it can take you through a whole whirlwind. And that's really what it came down to. Becoming real with myself, unlearning old habits, realizing what the reality of a situation and life really is, and then making the commitment to do better. Because I knew how to survive. I knew how to show up, how to pour into others, and how to pivot. But I didn't always know how to ask for what I needed. I didn't know how to sit still in my own discomfort without distracting myself sometimes with someone else's healing or someone else's process. Then life kind of comes at you fast. Next thing you know, your kids are older. So now you're parenting adults while mentoring teens, but still trying to figure out who you are, and me still trying to figure out who I was outside of the roles that I played all my life. And even doing a More Than a Mother podcast years ago, saying that I was more than a mother, more than that role, more than the roles in my life, it took some time to now to really finally sink in. And it really, truly hit me. I'd mastered being everything for everybody except for me. On the surface, yes, I was living for me, doing things for me, being the best that I could to everyone around me while staying true to me. I never really mastered being everything for me. Now, I'm happy to say that I have learned that. And if I'm being quite honest, I am still learning that. But as we always say, progress over perfection. So before I get into the things that I know now, let me be clear. This learning that I did, it didn't come from books or TikTok or Instagram or trending sound bites. It came from living through it, from sitting in the silence, breaking down and crying in bathrooms, and getting back up to make dinner 10 minutes later. If you're a mom out there, I'm sure you can relate. Now, here are 3 truths that I had to learn the hard way, sharing them with you today. So I'm hoping that you don't have to learn the way that I did. Number 1, peace oftentimes requires a battle first. Everyone wants peace, but nobody talks about the war that sometimes comes before it. What I know now, peace isn't passive, it's earned. It's not just pretty crystals, positive thoughts, and affirmations. It's hard conversations. It's awkward silence that sometimes stretches for days. It's sitting with yourself, being uncomfortable, and realizing, hey, I'm part of the problem. For me, peace meant owning my stuff in marriage, in motherhood, in how I show up in every room and every role of my life. I had to stop avoiding the mirrors. I had to stop explaining my behavior away with good intentions because healing doesn't come from being right. It comes from being real. That kind of peace, it'll cost you your ego, but it'll give you back yourself. And listen, I've been with the same partner for nearly 27 years off and on, married for almost 17. And I know it's like, oh, that sounds so sweet. But then you realize how much life gets lived in that kind of time and how intentional you have to be about doing life right, especially with someone else. We were kids raising kids, trying to build something permanent without ever having seen a blueprint for what healing looked like. And when you're in survival mode, just trying to make it from day to day, you don't always realize the pieces of yourself that you're burying just to keep the machine running. We had babies young, built a life while still figuring out who we were. But when that revelation comes to you of who you are, and especially when you and your partner perhaps reach it at different times, it could be a bumpy road. But the thing to remember in all of that is that you have the job to work on yourself, and your partner has the job to work on their self. And over the last few years, I've had to face some hard truths, apologize where I fell short, shift patterns that weren't serving any of us, have the tough conversations, sometimes with my husband, sometimes with my kids, but mostly with myself. I had to get real with Neeta B. Because honestly, if you want things to be different, you can't change anyone but yourself. You have to be different. You have to walk different. You have to show up different. And that's not always easy, but it is necessary. So when you take those steps inside yourself to change those habits and change those patterns, you find that the battle subsides and you make room for the peace that you have been desperately searching after. And the second thing I've learned is that when you're chasing something, when you're on that constant chase, it can and will cost you your voice. And let me tell you, as a content creator, this one hits hard. There is so much pressure to perform in life, but when you add the life of a content creator, there is really a lot of pressure to perform, to post, to go viral, to keep up with trends that don't even fit your truth. But what I know now is I'd rather build something real than go viral for something I don't believe in. I've seen people chase numbers and lose themselves. And honestly, if you're in this world, you feel that pull too. Maybe I should spill the tea. Maybe I should jump on a trend. Maybe I should post what people want to see. But no, that piece that I talk so much about getting in point one, that piece is not for sale. That piece is not up for sacrifice. And my purpose here is not a performance. I want to be known for the truth in my voice, not the noise in my feed. Virality, it fades. But legacy, that's long-standing and it lasts. And the chase gets tiring. So you learn to kind of sit with yourself, focus on your dreams, focus on your goals, and you run your own race. And if you're building slow, if your name's not always in the mix, if your path doesn't look like theirs, good. That means you're doing it your way. That means you still have your voice and you still have your power. I could have gone viral a long time ago, been in this game for 10 years of content creation, said the things, played the game, but I made a decision long ago that there are parts of my life I won't perform. There are topics I won't exploit. I might not get the same push or the platform as others, but I can sleep at night because what's for me can't be taken. And I know that I've stayed true to myself. And you also find that you learn to stop running. You learn to stop the chase. You start to celebrate where you are in the moment. Enjoy those moments. Because as I like to say, right now, you are living an answered prayer. So you may not be where you want to be, but you are a lot farther than where you used to be. Right now, you're sitting in a space and living a life that you prayed to live. So why still chase? Why still run? Why still go after something? Why overachieve? Sometimes it calls for you to just sit in that moment, enjoy that moment, enjoy what is at that level so that when it's time to go to your next level, you can soak that in as well. And too often we're hustling, we're grinding, we're trying to make it, we're trying to go viral, we're trying to do all these things that we miss the moment. We don't cherish the moment. We don't enjoy the moment. And like raising kids and like life, it comes at you fast and that moment is gone and you're wondering what happened. But when you remember that's what's for you is for you and you're going to get it regardless, you learn to have that peace. You learn to soak up the moment and you learn to just sit back and do you. You keep your voice, you keep your power, and you keep pushing. And the third thing that I have learned on this journey called life, everybody clapping for you is not rooting for you. Some of the people closest to you are only close enough to cut you. I've had folks I considered friends flip narratives, spread lies, smile in my face while plotting behind my back, waiting for a misstep. But what I know now, not everybody deserves access to me. And I'll tell you, not everyone deserves access to you. Listen, at one point in my life, I used to want to explain myself, clear it up, defend myself. On top of that, I used to give people way too many chances, but no more. I'm not defending what I've outgrown, and I'm not explaining myself to people who are committed to misunderstanding me. The truth doesn't need a PR team. And like my husband always says, the real always win. All you got to do is stay solid. These days, my circle is tighter, my boundaries are real, and my energy is protected because alignment matters more than attention, and peace matters more than proximity. Let them talk, let them repost, let them share, let them sub. Because while they're clocking your moves, you're out here doing the work. And that, my friend, speaks louder than anything anyone could ever say. The journey, the journey, the journey. It has definitely been a journey. It has not been easy. It has had lots of ups, downs, turnarounds, and all you can think of. But I came to the conclusion not too long ago that I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of being the strong one. I'm tired of feeling like I have to battle to get somewhere. I'm going to enjoy the moment. I'm going to enjoy the soft life and I'm going to chill. Because as everyone loves to remind me, what God has for me, it is for me. So start to enjoy life some, my friend. Because everything I just shared with you today, the pause, the perspective, the pivot, all lives in my digital journal, Back to Me Energy. A whole section dedicated on unlearning, the things that you have to unlearn so that you can start to live again. And when I tell you I lived every word, I lived every word. I did the work. I wrote the forgiveness letters. I cried the tears. And sometimes the only way over is through. So you have to face those hard truths. You have to be willing to learn things a new way. If you're in a moment like that, if you're learning how to come back to yourself without guilt, then Back to Me Energy Journal is for you. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. So grab your copy in my stand store. I'll be sure to link to it. So here's what I know now. You're allowed to start over. You're allowed to evolve. You're allowed to grow past what people expected of you. You don't have to explain your piece. You don't have to perform to be worthy. And you don't have to stay where you no longer belong. Your healing is not too late. Your story, it's far from over. You're not behind. You're building. And most importantly, you're doing better than you think.